Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Titan Esports on a Wednesday. Who else but your boy Lamb, my boy Crims? We're in for a special
Hello.
one tonight. It's the beginning of the season, Crims, okay? There's a lot of things still being worked
Okay.
out by both teams, but one of these teams is still undefeated. Dorado Gaming Epsilon, having a history in Aegis, but we're not here to talk about
hmm
Aegis tonight. We're here to talk about Titan. They're taking on Queen's Revenge, who we've seen both of these teams actually a little glimpse into them into that Winter Invitational.
Yeah, they were the runners up right there, and they were really close. Emotional damage did eventually squeak out the win against them. Close games all around, and not to mention Dorado could have went a clean sweep themselves in the Invitational, and they're going to be trying to do a clean sweep in this week because they did win that Aegis game, and now they're aiming for that Titan win as well, and that's going to put them in a good spot. Let's not forget Dorado Gaming experience roster. They have excellent players and they have definitely won some pretty significant tournaments here. So, besides emotional damage, Dorado Gaming is the other team that I would say needs to be taken down. They are the ones who are going to be the eventual champion contenders. Queen's Revenge, you didn't win last week, but this is your opportunity to turn it around. Again, you've also been in finals yourself, so it's experienced rosters down here. Of course, there is some new players, but Lamb, this is veteran team versus veteran team.
Having experience, especially in a tournament like Titan Esports, is going to be that much more advantageous for both of these organizations that go into this. And head to head, we're about to see how that develops along the coastline that is going to be Conqueror League and Titan. And this is going to be, of course, Group A. So a lot of action. And we're especially expecting fireworks, right? Queen's Revenge went very close in their defeat to Robert Ducky Gaming. I really like that name actually, Robert Ducky Gaming RDG.
I
Okay.
guess you would be someone who likes rubber duckies, particularly in the
Hey,
bath,
look,
I'm
there's
assuming.
nothing wrong with taking a bath as a grown man, okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You had a
Okay,
hard
I
day at
didn't say
work, you want to
that.
kick your feet up, baby. You know, Crims is a
And
shower
then your
guy.
rubber ducky, right? You need
Yeah, then the rubber
your
ducky.
rubber ducky,
Okay, don't
right?
don't forget the battleship. We need the battleship in there as
Go
well
ahead.
because ultimately if you play that amongst it anyway, we're getting way off topic. We always do this. We always do this. So for even going into this, so there's a lot of drama right now, Crims, surrounding Riot Games. If anybody's been keeping up, they reverted the patch all the way back, baby. Yumi still a champion, Crims, still gonna be in contention here. Who knows?
Nah, well, at least for this day here, though, they did undo their versions. It was a bit of a mistake on them, but in the next coming days, it's going to be tossed up, and that's going to be interesting because we're still in the previous patch here, Lamb, and that means that this champion is going to be out of the game for now. Blue side, Dorado Gaming here. There is so many options, and the Maokai split, the Maokai trade with the Sejuani. Will it happen, or is it going to be banned? Is there going to be a Wukong in here instead? There's a lot of questions that we have to ask ourselves for this first game between these two teams this season.
There is, and several times actually. So Ash, big contention of a pick, right?
Yeah.
Even with this reverb, we've seen that being very contested highly. But the fact that Varus is already taken away here, I think this is a really good ban. The Twitch being taken away, it's been an unconventional support pick across pro play, and seeing it in person as well in game is actually disgusting. Twitch just appearing in your lane as the top laner, it's got to feel bad. You get tilted anyway, you're on an island, and all of a sudden you get an invisible support coming up there and then poisoning you to death. So the bans are on point here. I really like how he already highlighted the prevalence that is that Maokai pick, right? Maokai is a champion that is so contested now. The nerfs that have been revamped means that he's even more powerful here, Crims. So why the hell wouldn't you take it or ban it? As Queen's
There it
Revenge are
is.
hovering it right now. Please don't ban this. I want to see it. Okay, never mind.
Now things you can, oh, that is interesting. They're going for the Zaya. That means they want to get a safe AD carry for their team fights here. It's going to be okay in lane in lots of matchups here. Not entirely lane dominant. Now this does leave open Zac and Amumu. Unfortunately for them, if they do go for that on the side of Queen's Revenge, Zaya does play into those champions very well. But I mean, Zac and Amumu with the Demonic Embrace, such a strong champion right now. We'll see if they go for it. Instead, they're going to get their Caitlyn first. Makes sense. You got to counter pick what you see. Is going to be able to dominate the lane. And now, do you pair it up with something like the Lux or the Karma? These are very, very well-known static combos. And it wins games for a reason, Lamb. You just take over the bot side.
It does. Answering back with your AD carry here is especially important, right? You're not going to show your hand too early on. Now, you're really looking for that support. You can gel him up here and you can make priority on that. Yeah, it's going to be the
There it
karma.
is.
Ah, baby, that color casting is falling over to me, Chris. It wasn't very hard to actually
What?
figure
I
that one out.
literally gave you between Lux and Karma, and you picked Karma. Congratulations.
50-50.
You got,
It's
yeah,
a
you got the
50-50.
50-50. You coin
But
flipped it.
we
Good
make
job.
it work. We make it work. Hopefully, this game isn't coin flip with the plays that go through this as well. But now on the opposite side here, for Dorado, who do you try and get here? Get your colorcast prediction in for the support right now. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Who's it going to be?
Oh,
Zaya,
I mean,
Lovers
Ash.
Duo.
There you go.
There you go, baby. You got it in time. You got it in time. You got it in time.
I mean, Ash makes a lot of sense because she does provide the poke and the counter poke to the Karma there. And not to mention, that ultimate can definitely catch out a Caitlyn or a Karma. So I think they should pick another champion that activates on that pick. I mean, I think Zac right now would be excellent for them. I don't know if they're going to go for that, but anything that helps into that, maybe even a Vi. They're going to go frontline instead. They're going to pick the Udyr. Now, the Udyr can run down something like a Karma and a Caitlyn, so there is that potential there. Still a strong pick with the Demonic as well, to point out here, Lamb. Demonic Embrace is taking over the jungle, Lamb. Sorry, we're not going to see the pony in this game.
Sadly, maybe a resurgence in the near future from my boy Hecarim. Free him from the cages he has been casted towards as we see that third pick and 2 seconds on it for Queen's Revenge. It's going to be that Zac. So Crims basically called it here. Highly contested Udyr pick as well. Don't forget, like you already mentioned, that Demonic Embrace is so strong on this champion, as well as a damage threat going forward. You can be unstoppable, get onto the Caitlyn, which is your predominantly task in that team fight, and you end up going tank, right? That's usually the way that the build transitions, and you feel good about it because as the longer the game goes on, you do damage and you're pretty hard to kill. But the same can be said for the Zac on the side of Queen's Revenge here.
Yeah, the Zac offers better front engage, upfront engage, rather than the Udyr. He has to kind of do a bit of chasing, bit of scrambling around to get in position. So the Zac's going to offer better engage that they did lack on Queen's Revenge. They don't have the Ashe Arrow to start fights. Meanwhile, Epsilon, they went with the Ashe Udyr, which means Ashe can get that engage, help the gap closing from Udyr there, but does lose out on the surprise engage factor. I think I would prefer them with Zac, but they left it open because they know Zaya can play into it perfectly. And now we see the gameplay being removed. That's very good. I think that something like a gameplay always needs to be considered. Just such a powerhouse in the top lane. If you don't mess with his lane phase, then you're going to have a problem on your hands, as not many champions can completely shut out the GP. Very smart pick there. And Syndra being removed from Queen's Revenge is very smart because the Ashe Syndra death combo, it ain't pretty, Lamb.
No, and pair that up with Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you're setting yourself up for pretty much success. That Imperial Mandate coming through for the Ashe probably in this case. I mean, I've even seen this Ashe support actually take a Umos. And then kind of depending on how that goes in it, a little bit lethally. But usually Ashe is used for that utility. Is we see Jax going to be locked in here. Now Jax again, we did the math. I don't know when it was, a couple of games ago that we casted, and this guy hits hard once he's got that Master Arms at work. This man is definitely something to be respected. So a lot of emphasis going to go up to that top lane, and it's demanding a response from Dorado Gaming Epsilon, because into the Jax, who do you take here?
There are counter picks to the Jax. He's not invincible, as they're gonna use the Udyr, and that is a viable counter into the Jax here, Lamb. A bit of a switch up they did to us last minute. Eventually, we do see the Wukong in the jungle, as the Udyr is going to be putting a freeze on Jax on the top side, not reliant on auto attacks to deal the damage either.
Mid laner remaining. Let's see that castle win. Just kidding. Don't give me that champion. Give me something spicy. Once you
first pick it.
Give me a Z. A Z?
No.
Okay, Vex. I mean, 3 letters still
Vex.
counts. I know you're probably not a big fan of this. I mean, gelling together in the team composition is a little bit messy, but Azir, no hesitation from Queen's Revenge. It's going to be Vex and Azir in that mid lane.
So the Azir is going to be providing a lot of peel that this Caitlyn dearly needs. Problem is, Udyr can be invulnerable, so they're going to have to time that perfectly, but can knock out the Wukong and potentially the Vex as well. The Vex is just going to be providing that extra dive that they're looking for with the Wukong, and the Udyr as well. So they're going to be aiming for that very sensitive backline. Karma, Caitlyn, and Azir need to watch out while Zac and Jax dish out some chaos in the front line. Otherwise, Dorado Gaming, they want to set up that nice dive into this Caitlyn Karma and make sure they are being completely thwarted while Xayah has a very easy time self-peeling here. I mean, the Zac and Jax, they can get in, but she's going to be able to delay so much with the snare and her ultimate that is going to give her own frontline divers time to mess with the Caitlyn Karma. That's what I see working out here in the team fights. Otherwise, Lamb, I think Dorado Gaming has some very interesting enchanted arrows in the future. They're going to be looking like they want to take over that mid lane with the Ashe combo into the Vex and potentially use them to, roam around the map and pick up kills. Meanwhile, Queen's Revenge, they're just trying to stomp bot lane.
On bot lane, make it happen, go for those dragons. But again, having that Ashe there kind of changes the direction of what bot lane can be for a Caitlyn, right? That you traditionally use it with the Morgana or the Lux. More so often than not, you actually
Karma
take the
does the
Lux
same
there.
thing.
But Karma can be really obnoxious, run up there with a shield on and then root you up, and then all of a sudden you're set up for that trap combination that Caitlyn can offer here. But check this out, Crims. Udyr, Nudyr, who put that deer up here? That's what Jack's going to be saying, because flexing the Udyr, that's got to be big brain plays coming through from Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, Udyr is a strong pick in the jungle, but that flex right on the top side really sells the draft here for me, because not only can it mess with the Jax, it can win lane early and provide that dominance, and they're getting the effect of the OP demonic embrace. It's not coming from the jungle, but you know what? I don't care where it comes from.
Oh,
in the
you don't
top
care?
side, it will do as well. So Udyr, super strong. I think they really buffed the Frost Wings version of Udyr recently as well, a couple patches ago. So makes a lot of sense. Gonna have some mana issues, but those got buffed for Udyr as well. So I'm excited to see how it's going to perform here.
Well, guess what, Crims? I just got word in from Riot. We're actually taking it back again with Spirit of the Lizard gonna be in this one. You're not gonna see any buffs on nobody. We're gonna keep going back until we hit the nuts, baby. And depending on the nuts, what it is, it doesn't matter. It's a card game. Get used to it. And that's the entertainment that we've got to bring you tonight, because ultimately we look at these drafts, right? The potential for pick on the side of Queen's Revenge here is pretty spectacular, right? The Azir gameplay is something that you can sit back and say, Azir take over the game, get those Emperor device shifts going in, but really you might be using that for a bit of disengage, right? But the ultimate thing is, again, the disengage from the poke from the Ashe, so it kind of gels together here. So I actually like the Azir pickup as well, and of course you get that Shimima's Legacy that you can stick up, and then you can all huddle around that turret for as long as it lives here. But the Wukong pickup here kind of threw me off a little bit. Getting the Wukong into this composition, yeah, you got to engage for it, but the Udyr kind of does the same thing. The Vex wants to go in there, get the fear off, get it set up, and then really your only DPS threat is looking to that Xayah, so the Wukong has to get busy in this game.
That is exactly correct. Wukong has to make some early plays. The Zac scale is insane. Champion does damage, heals, tanks, does everything. So Wukong needs to make some effort early to take control. That being said, Wukong playing into the Caitlyn is very good. Even if she uses her Caliber net, she is going to be caught up in the knockup of Wukong. So level 6, we expect to see a gank down there on the bot side, shake things up for Queen's Revenge, their power point. And that's really what they're going to be playing off of here. Wukong has better access, level 3, to ganks than the Zac does. Zac needs that level 5, level 4, kind of iffy, but level 5 is solid. And then once Zac hits that scaling of Radiant Virtue, then we're going to see it flip over for the team fights for Queen's Revenge here. They need that time, they need that scaling. They have 2 champions that really need to hit that 2-item power spike. They got the Zac, they got the Azir. And Dorado, they have the 1-item spikes. The Udyr on the Demonic Embrace, Wukong on the Divine Sunder, and then Vex on, whatever item she decides to go. I think she's going to be going, oh gosh, what is it called? The burst ones. She's going to go for the more burst ones. Whatever, well, I'm not a mid laner, so I don't care about the mid lane items.
Doesn't care about it. Doesn't care about any of it, but he's here, baby, and that's Titan Esports on a Wednesday. We're gonna cut to a small break, but to find out if Queen's Revenge need to amass revenge in this series, we're gonna find out. You need to stay tuned. Dorado Gaming, Epsilon, Queen's Revenge right after this. Tiny Spores, Dorado Gaming Epsilon versus Queen's Revenge Week 2. Conqueror League coming at you. If you're in for this one, you're in for a sneaky invade. Look at this. How sneaky will it be? Will it be revealed to your Crims, or are we going to see action? In that top side, it looks like Jax is actually hovering around Zach. That's a pretty smart move. The top laner not going to get picked out here, but if they
Oh, this lazy
advance...
5 point is going to get punished, potentially. Oh, they're going to see it, though. I think it looked like they kind of knew what was up on Queen's Revenge because they were in an awkward spot. Usually the top laner sits up in that bush right when they ran in. So weird things happening, but important to note, counter ward placed down from Queen's Revenge, revealing the red jungle. So they'll know exactly where hybrid carry is starting, and they're gonna know if it's gonna be top or bottom here.
And pathing for the jungler is going to be really important in this game. Like we already mentioned, the Wukong has to get busy because the Zac scaling is absolutely unbelievable, right? This guy can be a threat from Fog of War, so that means that your ward game has to be stepped up for this one, and you can't be caught out by that. And that's actually a good oracle. The back comes through for Wukong. That's a really 5-head move. And I mean, Crims, it's like watching myself in the jungle. I go back and all my buff's going to be warded, so I'm going to collect that gold as well as my red buff.
It is a little bit of a reward. Not much, though. You don't get much out of it. I do like giving it to solo winners for the XP. Yeah, it's tough out here. You got to make your money somehow. Topside trade already. And that looks like Jax is going to be winning that for the meantime. Udyr needs about 2 more levels to start flexing that early game power. And for now, it looks like both junglers, opposite pathing. Zac gonna be coming down for a gank, probably level 4 after a full clear. So let's watch hybrid carry. Let's see what he can do for that first gank of the game.
And I love that top laner's name on the side of Dorado is level 2 achieved. Iron Mantle goes up and good trade into the Jax. Daltini Linguini. We will not forget that name in a hurry. His Tough Daddy is on the end of a tough trade. In the mid lane, Sergeant Roebuck is a guy that we've commented over before. Familiar name on the Rift. Is Wukong actually looking for his number right now? A trade again in the top side. Counter strike goes out. We're going to see that Nimbus strike onto the mid laner. Good trade by Vex. Gets the electrocute off, and they'll even it out. Is a little bit returned from Sergeant Roebuck, but the Jax having a tough time up there, Crims.
Getting the beat down from the Frostfire Flames of Udyr. And I would have liked hybrid carry to path up for a dive. I think that would have been amazing. That being said, there is a flash on Psychopather here, and hybrid carry could use the flash defensively out of the turret range. Tough Daddy, this trade turning sour as trying to get that wave in last moment there.
Well, comments hurt. Just ask the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Welcome to Lamb's History Corner. We're about to talk some stuff, and you know how that ended for them. That's why we're top of the food chain, baby. But both of these teams, we're going to see who's top of the food chain in this one. I mean, it's best of 3 series. It's going to go close. We know that much. The Udyr counter pick is actually waiting in the wings. Wingborn Storm goes out. Counter strike goes up. It will stun up Daltini Linguini. Love that name. Won't get tired of saying that much. But Wukong now made his way up to that top side, and they're respectfully going to take both of the scuttlers in this one. Zac is in that boss side, hovering around that mid lane, which is so important because Sergeant Roebuck already using that flash this early. It's going to be enticing.
Yeah, 2 girls could burn the flash of Tough Daddy right there.
Don't say the full name, Crims.
I didn't even say the full. I didn't even get close to saying the full name. All right, 50% is where I got. As hybrid carry so far in the first path just burns the flash of Sergeant Roebuck here. Daltini. Linguini.
Okay, Dalton.
I mean, Dalton, it's probably, I mean, that's where I think the name comes from. I don't know.
I mean, it could be. I mean, we'll just make up the lore. It's going to strikes, drunk, flashes away, gets the heal out. Xayah lives just. What a gank coming through from that name in the jungle. Zac walks away. Psychopather takes a really bad trade again. This Jack's going to be huddled under that turret, trying to stay alive for as long as he can. They'll spot out the Zac here. His Wukong has foiled the dive attempt, which again would have been really enticing if they could get onto that Xayah, but they're not going to be punished for the negative trades in that bot lane just yet. It's Tough Daddy. There it is. Electrocute once again. Shifting sands. Take a comet. But ultimately, it's still a win for the Vex in there. And teleport actually used from both mid laners in this one. They picked that one up. But already, Sergeant Roebuck, he has to use it to get back to lane. And now he's just over 50% health.
2 teleports are down from the side of Queen's Revenge, and that is an opportunity, Lamb, to take over the game. The dives can be coming very quickly. Hybrid Carry, OP senses the weakness right now. Psycho Panther and Sergeant Roebuck are under immense pressure, and the Wukong gank could be exactly what they need to break the bank for Queen's Revenge. Sergeant
Oh,
Roebuck tries to get the all-in, does burn a flash, so now Tough Daddy has no flash, and that is going to be a potential gank for this Zach. I'm just going to say, Zach, just for you, I was going to go 50% name, but Lamb, I think you're just too worried for me to even say a partial of the name of Zach here.
like some are too young to understand the consequences of said. Yep, we're not going there with it. But you're right. Yeah, look at the roam actually coming from Karma here. Cray Dog waiting.
Tough.
This is really tempting as that stun will go out. The fear rather gets tagged off. There goes the stun from the Karma, and ultimately it will be a good trade to get Tough Daddy off of the Azir right now. Elastic Slingshot comes over. Cell Division still available for this champion. Will pull Tough Daddy back in, and First Blood going to be secure, but Sergeant Roebuck, he's been under pressure, but now he's expelling it back. This Hybrid Carry trying to kill the Zac. Is that passive? Now comes
shield.
back. It actually slingshot back in. Can't get the flubber. He stay alive. Flash forward. Soul Flame. Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. Sergeant Roebuck, second kill of the game.
Dang, he just swooped in at the perfect time to get that kill. 2-0 up on the Azir. And as well, the Zac picking up 2 assists. Hybrid Carry now. You're in a tough spot. You had to make some early action, and now it's gone a little bit in the favor of Queen's Revenge here. So they're going to need to find a power point on the map. Udyr still pretty strong, and the Vex, for the moment, is the stronger of the mid laners, but that is not going to be the case in a couple of minutes.
Certainly will not. And we'll see how this can continue to transpire as level 6s come across the board right now. As Zac once again goes back down to the bot lane, trying to get something, put a little bit of pressure on Xayah. We did highlight her as a DPS threat on this Dorado team. So we'll keep an eye on how she does right now. The CS department in that bot lane is pretty even, all things considered, and those cooldown reduction boosts are actually going to be complete for Ashe now. So already working towards firing off those enchanted crystal arrows. Still level 5 so far in the Ashe, but once she's level 6 here, Crim, she might be looking for a pick. Is again Daltini Linguini. We love it. Hybrid Carry. Cyclone going to be activated on a Cray Dog. Going low. He's getting the Rangers focus, but Drunk will get the final touch on that kill. Karma. Hybrid Carry has to run out of there because Zac is backing up in the rotation from the mid lane. Cyclone gets a ward jump. He will fall. Daltini Linguini. Hybrid Carry. Emperor's Defied gets run over by the Sand Soldiers, and they will collect the kill on the Xayah action across the map.
Sergeant Roebuck picking up 3 kills. Now in a bit of a tough spot. Tough Daddy can go for it. Zac in the arms, waiting for the play. Does find a little bit. And now
oh, wow.
Oh, does he go for it, though? He doesn't hit it onto Uicidal. And if you engage on the Zac at that moment, that will be your doom. Unfortunately, Sergeant Roebuck gets a bot lane first, and Tough Daddy can't find an angle, and now might be dying to the Caitlyn ultimate.
Ah, baby, bullseye is the marking. Vex will go down to the ace in the hole, set up perfectly by Sergeant Roebuck. 100% kill participation for the mid laner who was under a little bit of pressure in that early game, but now he's excelling.
I have to give some credit to a support when it's due. Uicidal and Cray Dog got the push in bot lane many times and roamed over to the mid lane. That's why we see that 4 assists onto Cray Dog there. So utilizing the champion perfectly, utilizing that combo to get pressure into the mid lane, especially for your Azir that is going to be in that losing matchup against the Vex. And now Tough Daddy is just out of luck. Azir is accelerated. There's no way you're going to catch up. The damage is just going to be massive coming out from this backliner here. And the game plan from Dorado, it's in shambles already.
10 minutes into the game, it's a shambles, Crim says, so we'll see how it kind of develops.
I'm allowed to do that.
You're right. You're right. If anybody knows Crim's like I know him, this man has a license to roam across anybody. and make them feel his opinion. Everybody's got an opinion these days. Psychopath, they're under pressure again, taking infinite damage. Wingborne Storm just burning the Jax. This is kind of what we didn't expect. That Udyr flex is
Hold up,
paid
Pyro Carry wants the
massively.
dive, and the arrow's coming up.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
arrow goes wide.
I've got to say, my colorcaster, he's got eagle eyes there because I didn't even spot that one. Luden's going to be complete for the Azir here as Kraydog gets the blade collar back. Zaya looking to kill the Karma, but they'll get the dive in the top lane. The teleport coming out from the Azir. The Cyclone going to be activated, and Daltini Linguini will pick up that one. Just over 40% health for the Udyr. Is going to go back in. Sergeant Roebuck, the Vex goes across the wall. This might be a dead Azir, and that's going to be picked up again. Just like that, the switcheroo. Daltini Linguini, 3 kills in this game with a Herald. Gonna be spawned in that top lane.
Oh, that is huge for this top lane. He just noodled right out of that death ult from Sergeant Roebuck, was able to just worm around and survive on slivers of HP. And now, Dalton Linguini shutting down the Azir, picking up so much gold. I would like to see the gold deficit straight up in the top side. It would have to be massive. I mean, already 350 gold bounty and has about 30 CS. I'm not going to do the exact math. In advantage in the top side there. As, yeah, that TP from Sergeant Roebuck could have been a little bit earlier, but just the timing wasn't there. And now, Daltini Linguini, the Pasta Master, is just looking to just completely smash this game with the dough that he just received.
Oh, I love it. Love it. The metaphor.
Oh, why did you see that one coming?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I took too long. I took too long.
He got it. It's fine. It's fine. But Jax, if you are Jax right now, that's got to hurt. I mean, you're having a hard time against Udyr. The Monarch Embrace just picked up for that top laner now. So that burn from Wingborne even going to hurt even more on Psychopath. There is this Jax doesn't look to get a break in this side lane. Daltini Linguini doesn't even need the wave. He can run him down here. Blazing Stampede. Gets the counter strike, but will walk away. Doesn't know where the jungler is right now. But there's a good ward just behind that Baron pit that will snuff out any attempt to gank this top laner. It's looking really good. Is that gold lead right now? We're sitting about 3,000. 3,000? Yeah, 3,000, 2,000. I mean, if you want to do the math, Crims, you do the math, because ultimately that's not my job. I didn't sign up for math. I didn't do math.
It's about 1,500.
1,500. Okay, I wasn't even close, man, but it's fine. It's fine. We take those. But again, look, it's only been 3 minutes since the last time we actually mentioned this. And the kills are even here. You see the plays that again, the arrow goes wayward, but Sergeant Roebuck is in trouble again. The Wukong making it happen. Tough Daddy gets on the money with that. Emperor's Divide just comes out a little bit too late to negate that one. I think he was dead anyway. But again, they pick off the fed mid laner who doesn't look so fed. He's looking a little bit hungry now, Crims.
All right, Lamb, you just read into the future because now it's a 3K gold lead in Dorado.
Right.
They're turning it on, and they're looking for kills on the mid lane. That is exactly what they want to be doing, especially with this Vex. They have that pick with the 2 of them. And now they're a bit activated, still behind on the Vex, so I'm completely worried about Tough Daddy in this game. Is going to need acceleration to have adequate damage here. But so far, with the current Dragon setup situation, only one, they may have a chance in this game.
Chance in the game is what everybody just wants. Give me one chance to try and take over the game. And this is a high caliber that we have in front of us right now. I mean, the high caliber Psychopath, he's under so much
damage.
Pressure. Oh, wow. I mean, Udyr's not even in the vicinity and he's taking infinite damage. Now he has to back away again. Udyr could literally just zone him out and proxy the wave. And I very highly doubt anybody would be good enough to stop him right now. As Zach gets found out by that from the Ashe, but gets pulled back in. Blade Recaller was good from Zaya. Gets the passive out with the Zac, but might be able to return here because Roebuck made the journey. Teleport coming in. This is going to be the Udyr. Daltini Linguini trying to get more stats on the board. He gets rooted up there. Exhausted as well. No damage coming out. Jack's going to return it. With his own, he gets pulled back with the Emperor's Divide. They shut down the Udyr, the Nudyr. Who the hell put him on a cooldown? As he's a 30-second away, and now we're starting to see the life breathe through Queen's Revenge as they collapse on that bot lane.
Lamb, that was a 3v5, and we know that those scenarios are not advised at all. They tried to pull the turnaround, but they weren't counting the numbers of Mias and who was where. Oh, this is going to be a very risky play. Can they pull it off?
Grey Dog under pressure here is Usai, though, has to jump out there as well, but Psychopath will kill Tough Daddy as they return fire on it. Hybrid carry, Roblox, then Trouble gets the Sand Soldiers, and Shirima shuffles on top of him. That's got to feel bad. Getting styled on that close range combat from Azir. Is that Dragon 2000? And it looks like it's only going to go one way as Queen's Revenge pick up that one.
Oh my goodness, Psychopather himself picks up a 200 gold bounty. This man was in the dumpsters. He goes from rags to riches in just a couple of moments, and now is primed with the Divine Sunderer. Is catching up to the Udyr as well. Only like, what, 600 gold behind at this point? That is a huge bounce back in the game. So far, I'm looking at that Azir. That lead against the Vex is significant, even just 500 gold. Hit the Mythic first, and I have to say, was a huge power point for the team in those 3 minutes of hitting that Mythic. I mean, without the power of Sergeant Roebuck, does he go into top lane to try to prevent the dive? Does he go in bot lane there and prevent the Udyr and is able to actually chunk him down and kill him? The snowball effect of this Azir is just proving in this game over and over. It's huge.
Well, I want to say, since that Divine Sunder are going to be picked up by the Jacks here, it's got to feel good for Psychopath. They're finally a little bit of gold going into the top laner's pocket. It's been pushed back all that way, and now Azir is going to go against the Udyr. Is that smart? I'm not too sure. Go unstoppable, run through that Emperor's Divide if it comes to it, but 2 levels is that difference. Is level 11 actually just achieved for Psychopath? And now he gets a break. He goes up against the Vex. They split it up. They say you're going to have more success down there. You'll be able to farm, and the Vex doesn't quite have that kill pressure picking up that Everfrost for this guy.
Yeah, Everfrost, this is not as much burst damage, more utility. So Tough Daddy senses is behind. He's behind, going for the utility build. Does Zach go for this? They have positioning.
Remember, his passive was already down here. He is healing up, and he will get the less bounce. Is that Caliber Net going to be pulled back by Caitlyn?
Oh, Sergeant
Roebuck. Roebuck actually kills him. The Emperor's Divide shuffles 3 back, but they're stuck in the Baron Pit. Will they go for it, though? It looks like they won't. And, yeah, Zac will get out of there and Shifting Sands will say that Azir will get out of there. Interesting choice not to collapse on that. Obviously, realizing they don't have the damage here, Crims.
They did have enough to kill that tanky Udyr, but that's all they had in the tank. Okay. We're just going to deny reality here. As Hybrid Carry was the one who sneaks away. He gets the Rift Herald kill. It was close, and then he is able to sneak away with it on the Wukong clone. They did lose an Udyr, so I guess that is worth it. All in all, they can use that for pressure on the next dragon, which, by the way, they really need, because if they go 3 dragons to 0, Lem, that's going to be a whole lot of pressure onto Dorado to get that next dragon, and they have to run face first into an Azir and Caitlyn. That is going to be a nightmare scenario, so they're going to need to make some early game plays. They have the picks on Ashe. They're going to just use this early get down mid lane. That makes sense. They just burn it right now as well, because it relieves pressure on their own mid lane, helps them get to those dragons earlier. So we'll see. They need the pick from Dorado's side for a clean counter sweep of this dragon. Otherwise, it's going to be rough going into that 5v5.
Oh, 2 turrets against the 1 is not bad odds if you are on the side of Dorado here, as we kind of reach a lull in the game until that 130 mark, which will be that potential soul point for the side of Queen's Revenge. And of course, like we already mentioned, that playing towards the strength of your bot lane means that you can play around these objectives, and highly recommended is to play around that dragon objective, because if you do get 3 consecutively, it's going to force a fight, and if you're in a favorable position, like you already mentioned, Crims, then you can take that fight and you can potentially snowball and win the game off of it.
Well, it is going to be a bit of a dicey scenario. They have to get that snowball going. They still have a little bit of a gold lead, but it's not on the Vex. It's not on the Xayah. So they need more damage in their kit. Udyr is going to be great in that 1v1, going to be great in the dive, but isn't going to be the one who's going to really carry the team. It has to be those damage members, Lamb. So, yeah, they have the potential to snowball, but it's a bit rough because the gold's not in the right place. Now, with that Rift Herald and with the pressure from Daltini, they're going to be first onto Dragon, which is, by the way, huge for them, because Caitlyn and Azir aren't as good pushing in as they are defending a area.
Oh, take a look at the Caitlyn's inventory right now. Is Enchant Crystal Arrow going to land on
Oh,
that? Caitlyn actually just jinxed her. Cyclone going to be committed here as well as Daltini Linguini. Emperor's Divide goes out, but not
oh, the
enough to keep the
Udyr's
AD carry
huge.
alive. As Psychopathic comes in, Master Arms going to be paused. He's going to roll up two. Drunk in trouble. Gets the Featherstorm out to stay alive. As Sergeant Robot going to be run down by 5 members. Strong here by Dorado Gaming. Epsilon as they are wasting no time, no nonsense with that decision making because the dragon is right around the corner. In fact, it's already here, Crims.
I like what they were thinking. They knew they had to get the picks, and that was their opportunity. Daltini was able to get a massive ult onto multiple, and that was able to bring their HP low enough for the finishing touches there. And Drunk, I mean, just had to survive, deal a little bit of damage, and Tough Daddy was there to prevent them from getting away. So I have to say, pulled that off excellently. Orion, nice Enchanted Crystal Arrow, landing right on Uicidal. That is a prime target. Didn't get the Azir, but Caitlyn is next up on that ladder. And now look at this pressure that they have on the bot side. They're able to pick up the dragon so they don't get swept 3-0 in the dragons. And now they're looking in a much better spot with this 4K gold lead. Sergeant Roebuck, I was saying how much strength this Azir has, and it's not being put to use at all in these 5v5s. The picks are coming strong from Dorado.
He's trying to get these Emperor's Divides off, but it just seems like it's a little bit too late or too early. Sometimes if the fight is not going their way, then Azir can bide his time with that one. Maybe a little bit too trigger happy on that ultimate. As again, we reach 22 minutes into the game here, and that gold state, 2800 gold, is we Daltini Linguini. Now Psychopath are definitely gonna really like this trade now that the Jax is actually a champion in this game. I mean, they're just gonna shake hands on it and walk away. But as I was saying before, the Caitlyn was actually picked off there, Crims. Take a look at the inventory. Stormrazor.
Yeah, this is kind of a new thing, Lamb. I know you've been under a rock for a couple, but yeah,
That's
the
right.
Storm Razor on the Caitlyn is something that people have been doing. Just gives you a bit better of a boost for that first item, Spike. And you don't need as much crit anymore, Lamb, for the IE or what's the other one? The Quick Blades. So people are going for this one for the heavier Spike. It makes sense to go for it because Caitlyn here isn't really going to be scaling too much. You have the Azir to do that for you, so you can use her early power there. So with the new item changes, we're seeing the results of new builds, so I hope Freak is happy about that one.
I'm sure he will be, and reflected in this game, certainly.
Oh, another arrow.
Oh, arrow lands on the Crazy Dog, but Zako come across, stretching strikes, goes on two. Teleport, gonna be popped by Tough Daddy. He wants to join this fight, see what's going on, see what's going down. In the right side of Queen's Revenge jungle is Tough Daddy going ahead with ultimate, get the stun off, or the fear rather, on Zac. He will get another teleport in that mid lane, but Sergeant Roebuck just returning to duty. In that mid lane, nothing happens. They're shaping up like they want to do something here, but there's so much rest. 23 and a half minutes into the game. One mistake cost the game. They might be losing the game. On the Grey Dog. Robot throws it back left and right, but it's you will down. Shifter or not, Psychopath are under threat as they're running them down here. Leading the charge, Daltini Linguini. As the Featherstorm goes out, doesn't root up anybody, as Caitlyn goes behind the turret, and now they're under siege here. The Baron's still on the map, and we got 25 seconds on the Azir to join. They'll continue the siege, and why not? Caitlyn under half. Zac gonna engage. Big elastic slingshot lands on multiple. Hybrid carry on the front line. The flash is good to stay alive. Such a close fight, but they walk away, and potentially Crimson missed a window for the Baron.
They went for the next turret, and I think the Baron was the better play. I'm gonna have to agree with you there, Lamb. I think they could have just turned around on a 3-4 or a 3-5. If Queen's Revenge tries to contest, you can just kill them 5 versus 3 anyway. So I think that is a bit of a missed opportunity. Would have rolled right into the next dragon, and they would have been able to pick up tons of plates on top, and tons of turrets on top and bottom there. They don't go for it. They still have good setup. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not a bad trade because they do get to push them back and delay their reset. However, something that's very important, Sergeant Roebuck, again, getting caught out. He's not able to use this power of the Azir. He just did not respect Dorado Gaming's hybrid carries clone into Q ult. And now they're paying for it here. The mid game from Dorado is just so much better, Lamb.
Just be better. Actually, Crims, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm actually the voice of Wally.
I don't hear it.
Not right now. Maybe later. Hybrid carry fails to go across, and he will go across on U's side. Kaelin on the threat here. Gets deleted. Daltini Linguini following that one up with his jungler, and they will connect on the rest of the team as Ash slows down Robok. Emperor's Divide out, but he burns. The Orion going to pick up that one, and now Zac, Elastic Slingshot to safety. Grey Dog under threat. Daltini Linguini doesn't commit for the karma, and you can understand why, because they got a whole base at hand. 20 seconds on the Kaelin as Tough Daddy seeks out the Zac. He's so small here. Procs the passive. Can they get the kill before he gets the Elastic Slingshot off? Krug's even helping out with that one. I think that's an assist to the Krugs. What do we think about that there, Crims?
Yeah, that was assist of the Krugs
Yep.
there. As, a little bit of sight into the future as this dragon is going to be the next one on the
Hell
chopping
yeah.
block. Mid-inhib. Everyone gets a crystal ball this time around. As we have the dragon slowly being drained of its life. And the Baron surely to be the next one up to close out this game. Gold lead absolutely ballooning exponentially to that 7K mark. And now, I mean, look, Dorado, they are the team that needs to operate with the gold lead. They have the pressure on the map as well. And there's only a couple things left in their way, Baron being one of them, and two pesky turrets that are going to be easily taken down once the Baron falls. I'm setting this up, Lamb. It's looking like Dorado, through that mid game, from that terrible start, is going to be the ones who pick it up here.
Yeah, goal lead has just exploded after those short skirmishes in that mid lane. Now the inhibitor are going to be down for Queen's Revenge. Have to make sure that nothing comes of that, because those supers are going to start marching down that mid lane. Gives you exact pressure that you need. Top lane actually pushing towards them here, but they're not going to wait around here, Crims. They're going to start up the Baron, and Jax might be able to snuff this one out as Grey Dog runs away. Counter-Strike going to get feared by Psychopather. They're still on the Baron. There's not a lot they can do as Daltini Linguini keeps the team preoccupied in the mid lane. They might be able to pick him up, but Zac actually misses his stretching strikes. That's good. Smite come through from Wukong. Jack Crystal Arrow lands onto Grey Dog. They pick off him. As now they will try and snowball this lead. They got the Baron. Can they get the Zac here as well? Emperor's Divide pushes the backside of that fight off, but Kaelin will be deleted by the Vex. The Cyclone lands on 3. Oh, hybrid carry goes huge in that team fight, and that might be enough to close out this game as Sergeant Roebuck adds to the tally of the Wukong as he goes positive in the kill department. Ace.
Dorado Gaming, they strike first blood in this game off the back of Daltini Linguini. Just absolute masterclass on the Udyr Jax matchup, not to mention the fact that they were able to find multiple gauges off the back of hybrid carry, showing his name right there. Not to mention, I mean, this Xayah pickup into the comp of Queen's Revenge ended up being absolutely perfect. And I'm thinking, Lamb, in the future, I don't think we're going to see Ashe in the hands of Orion this series again.
Well, I just think that Ash is so good right now that you either have to take this champion away or you pick it. The pick potential of this champion, I mean, you've seen it towards the latter stages of that game. And it was actually so gratifying when it lands on Caitlyn. You know, you throw it into a 5-man cluster. Uasidal becomes that target, all of a sudden gets stunned up. And the longer that arrow sails like ships passing in the night.
No, boy, no, that
Oh, it's
doesn't even
done.
work here.
That
Lamb,
doesn't
it doesn't
even
even work here. It doesn't work. There was nothing was passing unnoticed in whatever scenario you were trying to bring. That
Let
was
me say my
terrible.
segment. Let me
All
say.
right, fine. You get your segment. You get your segment.
Like Captain Jack spam only. Nah, we're going way too down the rabbit hole. But I was about to say, the longer that
You're
arrow
just bailing
travels,
on a bad joke.
and don't call me Shirley. The longer that arrow sails on by, I've completely lost train of thought here, Crims. But
Yes.
it's been a great performance actually in game one for Dorado. Here is, you know what? It looks so hard for Psychopath to actually be a champion in that game until that big switcheroo where he picked up 3 consistently, consecutively. That teleport down to the bot lane and he gets paid for it.
It was a huge payday for Psychopather. And then he was able to take it to the Udyr. Unfortunately for him, his team was not able to find safe scenarios for Psychopather to duel Linguini in the top side. And that strength of the Jax that was acquired completely wasted away, just like the strength on Sergeant Roebuck. I mean, the two members that were able to get fed that are the key pivotal points of their draft just completely just
Yep.
were not able to be utilized here. And I want to show that with the talk of damage because I
Yeah.
have a feeling Sergeant Roebuck did not meet expectations despite the 301 on the Azir, despite the first mythic purchase. And unfortunately, we can see here Tough Daddy was able to deal the most damage in the game despite being behind. That is not supposed to happen. So astounding from Tough Daddy and Sergeant Roebuck. Maybe gonna have to be rethinking this one.
Well, that's why he's called Daddy. Uh,
Yeah, I mean that's. Well, is he your daddy, Lem?
I don't know. I don't know where it's going either. But look, it's these damage charts kind of reflect what happened in that game. Most of Udir's damage actually came from that 1v1 very early on, and then was kind of padded towards the end of the game as he was leading the charge into Queen's Revenge. And Queen's Revenge,
Yeah.
they had a really good early game. You know, they had the push in the ball lane with the Caitlyn Karma. They had the objective control with the Dragon. Unfortunately, they did sack top lane, so top lane was left on an island, unfortunately, for Psychopather. But did have a little bit of resurgence in that, picking up the triple kill. I believe it was triple kill, or it might have been double when you might have got another one on top of that as well. But the damage charts kind of reflect how that game went towards the end, right? I mean, when you got a champion like Wukong, I actually questioned, you didn't question. That was a little bit surprised to see that Wukong come through, but the multiple cyclones disruptions in fight was enough to make it so that Azir couldn't do that damage, couldn't stand and fight with the sand soldiers. It made Caitlyn actually play heavily defensive, even though you got Karma there to get you out of trouble if it ever came to that. So really well played by Dorado, and they lead the series right now 1-0. But guys, if you're enjoying it, of course, you need to stick around. We're actually going to cut to a small break, but when we come back, we'll be getting ready for game 2 between Dorado Gaming, Epsilon, and Queen's Revenge. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What a game one to actually keep you on the edge of your seat and make sure that you're paying attention, because if you weren't, that was an Udyr in the top lane. Again, unconventional pick, but it works so good into the Jacks. And man, they got paid for it, Crims.
They both of them got paid for it. They're just due. And Dorado, they get the victory. Meanwhile, Psychopather gets a lot of pain in the top lane and not too much help either. I did like that they eventually went for the dive on top of that as well. It just went so sour for Queen's Revenge because they lost a very pivotal member in that top lane dive. Not only did they lose Psychopather, but they also lost Sergeant Roebuck, the very, very fed Azir, and pretty much the one holding up the team for this entire game. And unfortunately, from that point on, Sergeant Roebuck didn't look so good.
Didn't look so good. And in the early game, right? I mean, there's a lot of emphasis actually put on Roebuck, but what about his laning opponent, right? The Vex actually proved to be a problem. Very underrated, actually, not really highlighted how much impact that Vex actually had in that game. We've seen the damage charts, actually top the damage charts, correct me if I'm wrong. And really, is that champion that now comes into consideration whether or not you have to ban that away coming into game two here?
I think if you ban the Ash, you don't need to worry about the Vex. It's just that those two combo pretty well, especially when you're ahead, right? The Vex needs to be ahead. So when they had that lead with the Ash arrow combos, they're able to find picks very easily. I think once the Ash has been removed, the Vex pick not as good anymore.
Oh, Ash should be highly contested. We've seen numerous enchanted crystal arrows coming out from that direction. One landing, unfortunately, on Uisidal in that game. And really, the Caitlyn never even got off to the marks. I mean, they had that early game pressure in that bot lane for the objective control. They got the two dragons consistently in a row. And then when it came to that solo point, they really couldn't get it together to actually rotate around that objective, make the macro play, actually push the vision into the jungle. Because a big part of that game was that jungle. And if you're not playing around that, then it's going to be even harder. I mean, the Zac did get the Fog Award ganks off that we thought he would, but that Wukong kind of just sailed on by. Didn't really catch anyone's attention until he actually got into lane and made an impact in that. But Crims, we're going to see if that's going to be picked up because we're going into draft for game two, and I'm excited to see what they can take away from game one. You need to make adaptations, and how are they going to do that in the banning department?
I like the way you say adaptions here, as we might be having some draft issues here. So we're
No.
just gonna wait for them to come around. We have our very lovely producer Lucan, who's going to be fixing that, but also probably the one who might have, he's doing something very experimental, guys. This is very
Yes.
progressive. This is a very progressive stream. Very progressive stream here. We're really like on edge, on the technical edge, and the artistic edge as well. Lamb, like, wouldn't you say this is Picasso-esque?
I thought you said the other word other than artistic, and I was about to say, Crims,
Ah.
who the hell are you talking to? My boy Lucan goes out week in, week out for Titan.
I'm throwing a
fan.
bone.
He's
I'm
throwing
saying
a
this is
bone.
art direction. This is
Put
art
this-
direction.
The sunglasses, look, if we can get into draft, whether we get into draft or
I
not,
draft.
I mean, you said
Yeah.
Picasso.
Picasso, okay.
I've said Da
Lamb is
Vinci.
such a man of
said-
culture here.
We've completely lost it. Everything is up in the
Oh,
air
no.
right now. But look, let's bring it back. Let's dial it back. Let's
Bring
dial
us
it
in.
back.
Bring us
baby.
in. Yeah, yeah.
Bring
yeah,
us back in. Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah, train of thought's absolutely gone. I was so excited to actually see the draft, but do you know what? Low draft is hard sometimes for certain people, but we try and make it work as best we can. But how is everybody enjoying tonight? I mean, you got to enjoy that game one. That was a spectacle. And for both of these organizations as well, Crims, we already highlighted how important it is to get off to a good start in the league. And Queen's Revenge, now they need to master revenge and win this game too.
Yeah, they're going to need double revenge time here for game one and also for the past Titans. I think here we have to talk about that bot lane though. The Caitlyn Karma. Like you were saying didn't quite work out in the end, but they didn't get that follow through was the problem. The laning phase, the early game, even mid game was all spiffy for this bot lane here. And now at think we're gonna see if we fix the draft. There it is. That's how it's supposed to be.
I missed this
You know, I
round.
don't like this version. I like the old one better. That one seemed to
Yeah,
have a lot new
actually,
flair.
can we revert this like Riot reverts patches and we'll be chilling. Let me tell you. But what's that first ban going to be? It's going to be the virus. You pair that up with the
Okay.
Ash, that's devastating, right? Lockdown potential, change the corruption, pierce narrow. Can literally stand outside the team fight, watch everything happen, and then KS all the kills as an AD carry usually does in my game. Evelyn going to be taken away as well. Level 6, such an important factor for her, but you can't get active early on. And the Udi are going to be taken away. They put respect on it, Crims. They actually take it away. And Ash, okay, they actually make 2 adaptations. Two going to be applied.
Yeah. So they do make that adaptation there. The Udyr and the Ashe being banned away. They said, that was too strong game 1. You are not allowed to have it. And now, Dorado, they have to think on their feet a little bit for this last ban. They did win game 1. But the question is, are they going to be taking away anything from that first game? Maybe the Caitlyn was effective, in my opinion. Yes.
Oh, they got 3. Okay. Lulu. Gonna be taken away. Now Lulu is a really important talking point as well, because this champion paired along a defensive AD carry, in its own mindset, but the Makai was let through, baby. Let's talk about that in a minute. But Lulu being taken away here is really good, because it means the Sivir Lulu can't be a thing. It means the Lulu Jin can't be a thing as well. You know, this support actually pairs up. Do you know what? I can say whatever the hell I want, Crims. And you can tell me why that's wrong.
Okay, I'll keep going.
I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, I was gonna let you talk. I was gonna let you have it. Okay, Lulu Jin aside, pairs well with the Zeri as well. Those hyper carries. The Lucian Nami to be busting this out a little early makes me a bit weird. You don't know. I mean, a bit worried. You don't know what they're gonna be putting bot lane. They can now really change it up on you. Maybe they even go for something like the Lulu Jin if it wasn't banned.
Well, Lulu being taken away. Yeah, Lulu Jin. Jin was the one that I was trying to say. Did I say Jin? Actually, Ezreal is going to be locked in here. So Ezreal, again, scaling AD carry, doesn't want to go too hyper aggressive into Lucian Nami. So you're trying to pair this with something safe, right? And what do you actually pair it with here, Crims? The support. There's still a variety of champions that you can be selected. The Karma. Okay, it's an understandable synergy. It works really well. You can poke them down and try and trade over as best you can before Lucian Nami becomes a really hostile lane and they really take over. But that quite rightly means that Dorado, the Sujani picked up here, now that comes into the equation that Kisanti is still available. The lockdown potential in that top lane is really good synergy with that jungler. But the fact that we see Lucian Nami here means that our Dorado going to play towards that early game dragon buff in terms of getting soul point and forcing Queen's Revenge to activate. Because right now, Queen's Revenge, they got a really good jungler right now, but they have a scaling bot lane. So it's going to need time to come online.
I would say that they also have the more scaling jungler as well here. The Sejuani activates earlier than the Maokai. Maokai really needs that level 6 for effective ganks. Otherwise, is pretty good in the counter gank department, can throw saplings into bushes, mess things up. Power clears very well. The Ezreal Karma is going to be providing a lot of poke, but it's not the same kind of power that the Lucian Nami is that you're referring to here, Lamb. So I'm thinking they're going to be conceding. The Dragons probably going to concede 2 of them unless they have a good angle themselves. They need time. They're going to need a bit of space to basically grow into champions here. That being said, I think the Ezreal should probably go the teleport and play for very, very safe against those tower dives with the teleport, and then use Karma to affect mid lane, because Kraydog did it so well in game 1. I'm thinking Orion can turn that around in game 2. Sorry, Kraydog did it in game 1, and now he's going to have the opportunity to do it in game 2.
That being said, Crims, both of the mid laners are actually going to be taken away that we've seen in game 1, so we won't see that Vex as here. Syndra was the other additional ban in the the second phase of the banning. So wonder if Syndra, yeah, there it is. It's going to be taken away again. Control mage that's so good, and arguably the execute now along with the new Syndra is something that you have to put respect on. But Aurelia not even delaying it. Dorado say we're going to take that fight on the front. We're going to lock in that Aurelia that has the ability to 1v9 or 9v1 your own team.
Now, Aurelia does have counter picks, but Dorado have positioned this so that Aurelia can go and be flexed into top or mid, depending on the matchup. But Queen's Revenge can just pick 2 counter matchups in the solo lanes anyway. So the question is, who is going to be playing what counters? Camille's not really a
Whoa.
counter, so they either fight fire with fire. So if they don't like the mid lane matchup here, they could send it up top side. And now the question is, do they go for double counters? Can they play all the counters of Irelia here?
We'll see what music they can play. Is Camille. Galio is not a bad pick here to round off this composition. Honestly, he can really nullify anything in that mid lane. You get the wave clear with him as well with that colossal smash. And Galio, in a sense, like that ultimate being a mini global, right? It can, until you actually level it up, you can only go so far. But any skirmishes that break out, the Aurelia Jax, I mean, they could still flex this.
I think that they're going to be sending Aurelia in the mid lane. The Galio matchup is completely fine for Aurelia. It's not like, I mean, she can be taunted up, but she could also still beat down the Galio. The Camille is more of a skill matchup there, so they're going to be sending the Jax, who has the better of the Irelia Camille versus Jax Camille matchup. And now Jax has a pretty good lane for himself, so far Dorado, nice little win in the last round. And they have a very strong pick comp with the 3 members there. They're lined up nice in a column just for you. The Lucian, Nami, Sejuani. That is going to be their pick right there. They have lots of lockdown, and that Lucian culling damage is going to be the one to pick them off. Not to mention here, this is a very interesting thing, Lam. We have a 1-3-1 dedicated comp. The Irelia Jax going to be playing the side lanes, and the Lucian, Nami, Sejuani going to be holding up the mid lane, trying to get picks here. Not something you typically see. I would say this is a high skill, high execution comp from Dorado. If they pull it off, it's going to be something that all the other teams should be looking out for. Otherwise, I mean, they're really going for a hard to execute comp here. So hats off to them if they pull it off. Otherwise, it's going to be, well, maybe you could have picked something easier.
Well, Queen's Revenge here is, well, the Camille got that single target locked down with a Hextech ultimatum. You can follow that up with the Maokai, which can stun you forever. So the question about killing Lucian is not even a question at all. They definitely have the ability to do that, but the other thing that you already mentioned is that 1-3-1. Aurelia Jax, very comfortable in the side lanes, can continually push, very hard to deal in a 1v1. Certainly sending Camille to fight either of these champions can prove very tough unless she's had a very successful early game. She does amass a lot of damage, but that culling coming into the front line, who's going to be the front line? The Maokai will go Demonic Embrace. I believe Leandre's might be a factor as well. If you want to take into account that Galio can be that front line tank, he can get the ultimate in as well. And Camille can almost front line by herself for a while. Having the Karma as well, it ties in really well to have that empowered mantra, Defiance, to get that shield up on the rest of your team here. So the squad looking pretty healthy in this one, but they need to make sure that Israel can get off the mark in this game one way or another, because if they don't, they're limiting their chances of actually winning this game. But like you already mentioned as well, on Dorado Gaming Epsilon, they have a high skill composition. They need to try and pull off. The Lucian Nami going to be so effective in that 2v2, but until the junglers actually get involved there, we can see that pendulum swing back and forth.
They're going to be using their 3v3 prowess to control the falling dragons in the mid game. And I do imagine here, Lam, that this Maokai does go demonic, but then Radiant Virtue. They kind of have an all-in comp on the side of Queen's Revenge. They're going to use the Maokai for guaranteed engage, and the Camille is going to go for something like the Lucian and the Nami with the Galio ultimate right on top. This is a heavy dive composition. Pretty easy to play out too. So if they get into position, it's easy to execute, and if they get the early lead, I think they have good chances of closing it out. That being said, the Ezreal Karma need to play safe. They can't feed over to this Lucian Nami. The Ezreal is going to be the bulk of their backline damage. Notice everyone else is pretty much melee. So if Ezreal falters, they're going to have a hard time winning the team fights, which is what they're set up for. The Maokai, Camille, and Galio, they're just going to all meatball in, dive onto the Lucian, Nami, and they are certainly going to be effective if they get that opportunity. So interesting to see how the ball lane is going to play out, and if any of these solo lanes get shut down from either side. That's going to be a huge factor for this game. But for now, Queen's Revenge, pretty easy, all-in comp. Everyone hits ultimates. And then Dorado Gaming, they're going to be playing that 1-3-1. They have to play clinically. They have to know how to close out the game, how to get the leads, and also how to execute on this Lucian, Nami, Sejuani. So in terms of who I think is going to win, this is going to be a tough one for me here, Lamb. I mean, Dorado Gaming, if they have the execution, it's a nice comp. But Queen's Revenge is such a solid comp, like how they operate together, that if they ever get into the right spots, it's certainly going to be a win for them as well. So, I think today's going to be a 2-1. So I'm going to go Queen's Revenge. They're going to even it up here, and then we're going to get a game 3.
Okay, game 3, whether it's on the cards or not, I'll give my prediction as well. I usually leave you hanging here, Crims, but I'll go Dorado. I think they got enough in the tank. I think they showed everything to basically cement their place as a 2-0 team in the series, but I could be completely wrong, which I normally am, unless you've been tuning in recently to the Lamb and Crims cast, then I'm definitely up on my opposing caster. But to decide that one, we're going to cut to a small break. After this, it's going to be game 2, Queen's Revenge, Dorado Gaming Epsilon. Don't go anywhere.
All right, I'm bringing us in for this one, not Lamb. I'm getting my time to shine here. We have
Hey.
Dorado Gaming on the red side, Queen's Revenge on the blue side. And yeah, you know what? I stole a little bit of your job, Lamb. But you know what? That's, we just to let everyone in, me and Lamb, we like to, let each other flex a little bit of our muscles here. We're not a one-trick pony here. Isn't that right, Lamb?
Where am I?
Oh, he doesn't know.
That's
Oh
right.
no, he can't do color at all. Nah, just kidding.
That's right. I can't. I can't unless it's draft. My predictions in draft have actually been getting better. So
That's
that's
true.
something that we can take away from that.
Oh, I'm looking here. Uicidal not going the TP Ezreal. I do wish that it would find more prominence here. I think it's pretty strong. TP on Ezreal's been historically very good for scaling. And guess what? Your support can just go off and roam on the map. Doesn't need to be there to hold your hand. And I prefer that kind of playstyle. But we do have the first strike Lucian here, Lamb. That is going to be a lot of burst damage. And I'm really hoping Dorado can pull it off. Be exciting to see if they can pull off this high skill comp.
Well, that 1-3-1, if we do see it, is going to look really good. And Tough Daddy being on a champion like Aurelia is a little bit different to the Vex. And going into the Galio is not a bad matchup at all for the Aurelia. Of course, she can keep deleting those waves, probably just as quick as Robot can. As soon as you get some items, of course, the Galio will take a little bit longer. But Daltini Linguini definitely has the number of Psychopather. Seen this so many times in game one, he's very confident in taking those short trades.
Now that I'm thinking about it, what kind of pasta is linguine? Do you know? Is it like one of the
Italian?
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, didn't know that. Thanks for helping me out here, Lamp. Appreciate it.
Hey, I didn't ask the question. I'm just here to answer it, baby. I give you Italian.
Why did I even ask you? Yeah,
I don't know.
I should have asked an actual Italian. You're not Scottish Italian, right?
Not the last time I checked.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't. It could be. I mean, the genes are a funny thing. Let me tell you. Actually, I have nothing to back that up with, so I don't know why that would even be a thing. Topic of conversation. Topic of conversation. Gonna be the junglers here, Crims, right? Sejani making its way on the hybrid carry. Seeing him play so well on that Wukong. Again, it's an engaged champion. He kind of like that on the Wukong. Once you got that level 6, you can really go all out. As you see that powerful synergy and that Tidecaller's blessing going on to the Lucian, you can get even more damage flying off for the champion. And it's why Lucian Nami has been so successful. As you see Tough Daddy return right there with a flawless duet. We'll see these many trades going across the map and everybody really feeling the vibes in this game too.
These matchups have to play aggressively, Lamb. No one is going to be passive laning here, except for probably Uicidal. You got to be using your strength while you have it. And that means hybrid carry hits top lane first and level 4. So is going to be able to get this Scuttle Crab. They have the push in. Are they going to get the gate first?
Well, looks like hybrid carry
interrupts
the hooks off the wall. Psychopather gets the flash into the river, followed up by the Maokai. Bramble Smash not going to delay the Sejani, but we're able to take this. Needs to be careful. Could get stunned up. Actually gets across with a final tag of the passive and the Permafrost. Just not going off for the Sejani. So everybody living there. Galio now making the roll up, but there is a ward in that top brush. And Jack should be A-OK. Is Daltini Linguini. The Italian pasta man. He's the impasta man because he's getting killed here. Stunned up, jumps into the wave. The CS not helping that department. And Sergeant Robot will claim first blood. Jack's not respecting that gap closure.
Sergeant Roba ghosting to finish off the kill there. But it comes at a price. The mid wave was shoved in by Tough Daddy. And he's going to be losing golden EXP. But it's well worth the first blood, Lamb. And so they get that right onto Sergeant Roebuck. Interesting not being able to pick it up onto Psychopather. But man, all the flashes burned in topside. It was a game of margins. As they have to get this shove in here. Hybrid carry going in for the kill. It was out of low mana as well.
This is a really interesting attempt. Oracle will come
One
out, spot them in the brush, gets the flash out of Cray Dog, a flash again out of Uicidal. So both of the flashes down. 5 minutes on both of the bot laners there, Ezreal and Karma, but they're very defensive players anyway. this wave should bounce back as it reached that turret. So eventually, Ezreal will get to eat up that golden XP under the juicy turret that he's got set up there. So it's not such a bad trade this early on, but there's still a little bit of room to make things happen in that ball lane if the jungler, or anyone for that matter, will make their way down there. And the Ezreal and Karma are certainly going to be a focus, as now that wave is going to crash from Drunk. He pushes it back, and again, this pendulum going to keep swinging until somebody gets an advantage here.
Lamb, both of these junglers are neck and neck. They've basically been meeting each other all along the map already, and they are just following along what the other junglers doing. So far, though, Hybrid Carry, because he's on the Sejuani, gets to the ganks a little bit sooner, but Two Girls is able to make way to stop the Sejuani power. Psychopather, yeah, gonna have to hook shot away from the Jax, level 6, level 5. Right now, the strongest point for each team is starting to settle in, and Psychopather being put behind is not a good look for them. The Jax power is going to be coming through, it seems.
Well, having the Jax in the first game and now playing against it, Psychopather does know what that matchup is like, and picking the Camille into this, he had to expect that Jax would return to the top lane, and this time in Daltini Linguini's hands.
Oh, do they catch him out again?
Rush here, and Galio Roebuck sniffing this one out. Sejuani is here, so they can turn this around. Level 6 on the Galio, not going to help him in a 2v1. And Tough Daddy making the roll. Permafrost goes down very early.
It's a 3v3.
Back forward, trying to get a shield to Duran. No, he's not going to get it right now, but
oh, the
ultimate will come in
Galio?
from the Galio. Squishes Daltini Linguini. Puts him through the pasta machine. Blade Surge comes out to heal Tough Daddy, but that's only a Vampiric Scepter. It's not the Blade of the Ruined King, and the Camille will kill the Aurelia.
It's an absolute slaughter in the top side. Psychopather as well as Sergeant Roebuck picking 2 kills apiece. And that is saying some very bad things about the solo lanes of Dorado now that they're behind, fully encapsulating that lead now. And the Jax, who is probably going even, now going to have a tough time using this Sheen already. Suicidal going in for the kill.
Oh, because Galio's here, the cleanse comes out, but he's rooted, and Roebuck just sneaks in there through that bot lane brush. Great pink ward makes him invisible, and Junk will fall.
All right, Lem, I'm liking Sergeant Roebuck on the Galio a lot better than the Azir. Already massive support to both of his side lanes. Doing an excellent job using the roaming pressure of the Galio. Yeah, there's no way in hell that Hybrid Carry is going to be getting this dragon as they pick up the first one. Queen's Revenge, they have a 2.2k gold lead as well. They're looking all green on their side here, Lamb.
Well, this is why my predictions aren't forthcoming at all, and Tough Daddy will clear
Well, the
up
game's
on
not
them.
over yet.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Yeah, this is a minor goal lead. It's a minor setback. Minor setback for the Epsilon. Daltini Linguini! He gets shut down in the top lane. It's not a shutdown. He's died 3 times, but that's a shutdown. That's a suplex. That's a rock bottom up there by Psychopather. He's returning the favor in game 2 here, Crims.
Psychopather about to put Daltini Linguini in the sleeper hold, and he's executing his revenge right now in the top side. And this Camille is starting to pull ahead in pretty spectacular fashion. Going to be pretty close to that Sunder as well. Meanwhile, Sergeant Roebuck has the steel-plated boots. Going to do massive to negate the Irelia damage in lane. And that means he can start pushing more comfortably and start even diving, I'm presuming, in the upcoming minutes here with the ultimate. So that's what I want to see. I want to see them push their lead. The Galio has limited time to be stronger than Tough Daddy. I want to see Sergeant Roebuck use that strength right now. Maybe even in the bot side for Suicidal.
Well, all this conversation is going to be about Galio and how he's mastered his way this early game. 5 kill participation out of 6 is not bad for the mid laner, who was under threat a lot on that Azir. Looking to return big time in game two, making a name for himself as Queen's Revenge, get probably the perfect start to their game. Ezreal sitting pretty good down there in the bot lane, not really under threat from Drunk, and the Orion, his hybrid carry, is waiting. They know the Sejani hasn't showed in some time, but this is a lot of time to waste as his channels are back now, and Orion will eat that empowered
It might be
Q
the bait.
from the Karma. Okay, Glacial Prison.
Oh, double
What
flash.
an arcane shift to get out of that one. No, it's two flashes. No arcane shifts in a fight in the top side. Shield comes out from Psychopathers. Master Arm's going to be propped by Daltini Linguini. He gets popped by the second activation of Precision Protocol in Psychopather. 4 kills in this game.
That is not a pretty top side. And Daltini looking like Linguini in this one, as this Jack's completely being negated here. Hybrid carry trying to shut down Sergeant Roebuck, and it looks like they're going to be able to get the stun. Irelia hits the ultimate, is going to be able to dash in. Sergeant Roebuck doing his best to try to survive, but there's nowhere to go. They're chasing him into the jungle, and shutdown lands on the Irelia here, Lamb. And they finally put a stop to this Galio.
That's my play-by-play right there, man. Listen to him.
I get
go.
one.
He got it.
I get one.
That's A-okay with me. That's A-okay. I got a burger standing by. Psychopather gonna be joined by Makai. Gets the flash out with the Jax, not respecting where that jungler will be. Third of a dive. Master Arms not available, but Shelly will go down, get more gold into the already snowballing Camille up there in the top lane. Daltini doesn't actually agree with Shelly being dropped there. He's already so far behind in this matchup. Is now Kraydog going to be under threat from the Sejani. Permafrost goes down. That's going to be cleanse, exhaust, and Kraydog lives. As Uasidal just trading back 1v3. Got to feel good for the Ezreal. No threat at all when falling in that bot lane.
Drunk did not have the culling. That was about 30 seconds away. Now it's coming up, but a little too late here. As, yes, they do drop the Herald topside just for a little bit of quick gold. Not entirely the most effective. Oh, Drunk, round number 2. Huge trade, but now is low mana. This dragon coming up pretty soon in 50 seconds. And I think Queen's Revenge are going to get the better back timings here, so they're going to be able to clear out the vision if they want to go for it. I do highly recommend they get 2 dragons to 0, because that is going to help them massively in the mid game.
Well, sub 12 minutes on that Divine Sunderer for the Camille has got to feel good. 400 shutdown on the Camille. So might be the next focus of Dorado is this game. Slowly getting away from them. I know the goal lead is only 1900 right now, but the gold is on the right people. They want that 1-3-1 to be answered, and you can certainly do that with the Camille. You can put her anywhere, and she will take a matchup 1v1 against anyone on this Dorado gaming squad so far in the game. But it is still the early game, sub 13 minutes, and we're going to see Psychopath. If you can get first blood in the top lane, that's going to feel good about getting that turret. Additional gold is always a good thing here. Crimson is committing for it. Might be in a little bit of trouble. The turret's still standing. Daltini, Linguini looking for the shutdown. The Camille can turn this around. He's got Master Arms. He's got the damage. He trades back with the Empower off the wall. Hextech Meal flashes out. Oh, baby. Shutdown Daltini. Linguini, remember the name because he's not an imposter anymore. He's the man in the top lane. Hybrid carry. Now under threat. Flash forward. Vanguard's edge going to land on the robot. Tidal Wave comes out. They will focus on Makai. Cutting the tree down. They'll get the grand entrance out of Sergeant Roebuck, and he will disengage. A 4-for-1 is not good odds, and he gets the hell out of there. His dragon going to be the next focus.
All right, they are not able to pick up the dragon. Queen's Revenge, great pick from Dorado. It looks like they've been watching some LPL LCK as they pull that one off clean. Meanwhile, topside, Daltini gets the counter shutdown. That's certainly going to be helping out the Jax, who's been, he's been in the dumps this game, and is
leave him alone,
to make hey, well, it's looking a lot better now than it was a couple minutes ago. So, hey, getting his due here. And Lamb, 2 plays back to back, and not even a break for you. Pulled it off beautifully here, as it looks like Dorado Gaming finding a bit of a comeback in this game.
Oh, check out that CS department in that top side. Is that to initially false overcommitment from Psychopath to cost him his life, ultimately from Daltini. What a really skilled matchup that was. But the goal lead as well, that's been squashed now. 400 in the department of Queen's Revenge. And they're still in the lead here. They're still in control, so no need to hit that panic button so far. But Lamb's prediction for this game, you must be shaking a little bit in your boots there, Crims.
Uh, you know, I'm still pretty confident. It's getting lower.
Okay, Glacial Prison. The Cray Dog might not be confident about surviving this. And
Ah.
Dog Drung going to pick up that one. DOG looking like DO double G. Crip walking to a kill in that bot side. Lucian finally on the board. It's taken a while, but he makes it happen with the assistance of his jungler.
Kraydog's gonna need to pick up Mikhail's pretty soon here, as Uicidal did not get the cleanse for the Sejuani. Whoa, wait a minute, this top side.
That pendulum was swinging in the bot side, now it's swinging in the top side. Psychopath or X-Tech, oh man, that might be the Colosseum that you'll fall in! And it's your own damn building, Daltini Linguini. Second kill on the Camille.
All right, showing to be the better top laner in this matchup maybe, because look at this resurgence. He gets 1 foot in the door, and then he just streams on through now. I mean, Daltini might just be winning in the top lane now.
Galio, Nami looking like sushi here. Teleport comes in. They're trying to turn this around potentially. That's going to be their Relia. Flawless do it. Goes out. It actually lands on the Cray Dog. He will get away. Reset of the Blade. Surge back forward. Vanguard's Edge going to help out with the reset right now. Shows Duran go up, but he's taking a lot of damage from Junk on the back of that, and they completely ignored the Lucian. He will pick up that kill as they get one in that 3 for 2. Good teleport coming through. Actually from the Galio, otherwise that could have spelt a little bit more damage. True shot barrage on the money, but Tough Daddy, he's tough. He's gonna live.
Sergeant Roebuck going for the utility build in Lamb. I don't know if you noticed, but there was no damage. Uicidal just on the single item. Needs more time to cook. Right now is definitely under. Psychopather trying to dodge that in the mid lane. Maokai trying to turn around here.
Nature's Grass, flash forward from the Sejuani, trying to get out of there. Aftershock going to be proc, so that means the damage is going to come in, and the true damage from Psychopather makes a little bit of resurgence as he rotates to that mid lane.
Picks up a nice kill there, and certainly doesn't have to 1v1 the Jax here, so is a lot more confident in finishing off that Sejuani. Hybrid Carry does have the Radiant Virtue, while Maokai gets that Demonic Embrace, and they're going to go for the second Rift Herald here. That should help them get some gold, create some distance, or to gain back distance in this gold lead. Excuse me, has flipped over to Dorado's side. They did pick up a couple turrets while those fights were going on. And Daltini flashing out of a taunt. That was well due.
Yeah, good flash coming out from Jax. Doesn't want to fall anymore in this game. Actually has a shutdown over his head right now. As his farming capabilities showing now. Daltini Linguini gets that back off, and he gets that Caulfield's Warhammer in the inventory as well, helping with the CDR, of course. And we will return to this lull state as a minute on that dragon. It's got to be the focus. Both of these teams, they evened out the dragons here, so whoever can take this can potentially get a winning fight. This game is pretty neck and neck, Crims, even though Queen's Revenge, they were in charge of that early game.
It is pretty close, and the Queen's Revenge have certainly slipped up a little bit. And I do want to remind you, Lam, casting our eyes back to game number 1 into the past, they also had the early advantage in game number 1, but Dorado's mid game turned it around for them. And now it's looking like the same story is being told again. And it looks like Queen's Revenge, they're going to need a new author here if they want to be making the win in this game number 2.
Hybrid Carry, Winter's Wrath goes out, Hex take on me, I'm gonna lock up the board for now. That Aqua Bubble does not land, but the ultimate's gonna come in from the Galio, hit up nobody on the back of that. Nature God's gonna roll up Daltini Linguini. The Jack's been left alone, 4v1, and he will fall. As that kill is accredited to Sergeant Roebuck. Now it's a 5v4 for potential dragon control here. We'll see if they can bite anymore, but it looks like they're peeling back. They don't want to take this fight, and you can understand why they're already at a negative disadvantage. Aurelia opts to push that bot lane. They still threaten that potential skirmish over this dragon. We've got 15 seconds on Daltini. No teleport onto the Jack so far. Goes Roebuck. Everfrost lands on Hybrid Carry. He gets Arctic Assault out of there. Nami waiting in the wings, could be the next focus. Good bubble lands onto Galio. Sergeant Roebuck has to use the flash to get out of there. Too much of a threat of dying with Tough Daddy.
And now Jax is up, and he's running straight to the dragon. They're going to try to start a fight right now, though. They have
Roebuck,
the
actually, the
flank.
dragon's killing Roebuck. Nerf the dragon, please. Galio has to hightail it out of there. And it looks like even after all of that, Queen's Revenge are going to have to give up this dragon.
There was not enough control over this dragon. The saplings only do that bonus damage, and Drunk snipes him right over the wall, as that is going to be a double blow to Queen's Revenge. Dorado Gaming, they do it again. Don't count them out of the early game. It's all about that mid game for this team.
Well, Crims, I'll let you in on a little secret. Actually, I didn't count them out. What I'm counting on is Kraydog getting this Chuff Daddy. No, not with hybrid carry around, so I was lying about that one. But the one thing I didn't lie on was my prediction of a 2-0 Daltini. Sees Kraydog. Kraydog under threat right now.
No.
Everfrost comes out, but Karma will fall. Teleport actually coming down from Psychopath. They've had enough of the Goon Squadding. Committing the teleport down there from the Camille when she was already up there in the top side, opting to push that one out. And now finds herself sharing XP and gold with Sergeant Roebuck. That's not ideal for this team composition.
Wait a minute.
Right now, Psychopath are looking for the Lucian. Will get a Hextech ultimatum.
Galio?
They're going to commit the teleport as well. It's going to be Aurelia. Dog Drunk actually runs out with that. Galio comes in with the ult. They're going to focus on the front line, which is to be Daltini. He actually drops the Ezreal. AD carry already gone. The Jack still on the surge. He's going to get rooted up by the Winter's Wrath. Slow down, back forward with a leap strike. Double kill. Aurelia, they're having fun out there. Dorado bite back in this game, and they extend that gold lead.
Queen's Revenge are not getting clean kills on their pick. Psychopather goes in, locks down Drunk, but the Galio ultimate was a bit late, and they don't have enough in the tank to finish off the Lucian, not to mention Uicidal just dying in the main source of their damage. Daltini Linguini getting so much out of the gold that he's been given here. 2 items up, is absolutely a monster in this game. And now Tough Daddy is just online. 600 gold. 2 items. Spike Aurelia is going to be absolutely massive. Dorado Gaming, they do it again. I mean, I'm just honing in on it now, Lamb. Dorado Gaming's mid game is just so much better than Queen's Revenge. 2 times in a row, they're down by significant amounts of gold. The plays just not in their favor early game, but time and time again in this series, the mid game doesn't even look close.
Doesn't look close, and it's really boding well for them. There's such ascendancy to actually getting in control of this game, as Daltini being baited in by Psychopath, but 2 items on that Jax might make him hard to kill here as he actually takes down the Camille. The 1v2 certainly online, and that lamppost, that big swinging metal thing that he's got in his hands, he's slamming it on some skulls again as he drops the top laner of Queen's Revenge. I believe that's for the 3rd time in the game.
And a 1-3-1 comp with Baron. These turrets are just gonna fall like flies here. So far, they picked up Psychopath. They get the mid lane turret. Bot lane is sure to follow. Wait, Orion a little bit in danger's way as Daltini is looking for another kill.
He sees a tree. He's ready to chop it down. Wood cutting levels. You better believe DOG Drunk is level 99. Whoa! That's
We're
a
in
big
intermission.
shout.
Intermission.
Looking what's good, baby. We send us back. Send us back. Okay, we're back. Oh, no, we're gone again. Oh, we're back again. The who done it? So now, whoa,
Okay.
we're gone again.
All right, this is on purpose now. This is on purpose now. There's no way that happens 3 times in a row.
3rd time lucky. 3rd time's the charm,
experimental stream here, casting as our
Hey, Lamau.
producer is giving us a bit of a headache. I got a little bit of a whiplash from that one. That was like a very aggressive intermission, right? Like the plays are going down. Intermission right now in your face.
Intermission right now. I am the producer. I'm
the one who tells the game to keep going. None of you have control over this scenario. Producer is the overlord of everything here.
Well, I can tell you one thing, and that is Dorado and Daltini. Flash forward. Oh, he times it perfectly. Kraydog getting his head caved in. Gets away from that one as Psychopath comes to the aid of the support right now. That'll be a lot of commitment to keep him alive as Tough Daddy gets the flawless do it out. Blade Sword's going to go in.
Oh,
Fervor passive. Fully stacked. Do it, Tough Daddy. Go over the wall. Let's see the recess. Aurelia. Ops not to is that big purple shrimp. Is definitely highlighting the play. Kraydog tagged up by the Winter's Wrath. They'll get that one as the siege continues. They're definitely going to break open the base here as Psychopath are left alone with Tough Daddy. Flawless duet. I mean, he's so good at this. Aurelia looking for another one. DOG Drunk coming in. Who's going to get the last hit on Psychopath? Who's trying to delay the Inevitability? He's about to fall, but that's Drunk again. The Lucian. 6 kills in this game.
They have the Lucian online. They have the Aurelia online. Drunk and Tough Daddy. Oh, I just thought about their names together. Drunk Daddy, not good. Let's not do that. Let's not put their names together here. As Dorado are looking at the eyes of the 4th dragon, and it looks like it's theirs.
Oh, I can tell you now. I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know you have rights Queen's Revenge? I'm just kidding. I believe everybody does until proven guilty. In this case, the only one that is guilty here, Crims, is Dorado for having an excellent mid-game. And now this Lucian is an extreme problem. Navlori is going to be completed. We see a Hydra on the Aurelia. Healing for Infinite, almost level 16 now as well. Tough Daddy is tough to deal with. Drunk is not drunk. He's perfectly sober. He's walking in a straight line, and he might be looking to do that, accompanied by 5 members to try and end this game.
Well, I think it's more like Drunk is the drunken master, and he's hit that perfect level of soberness here, where he just rides the line in between.
Give this man his keys. Give him his keys.
He's good. He can. No, do not do that.
Don't do that. That's really bad. Crims, don't encourage the viewers to do that. Okay, Makai under threat. Everfrost comes out, but Master at Arms means that Jax is
4v1.
certainly in full control. He's turning back around. Sergeant Robot flashes into the wall. He may as well has collided because he goes down like he just face tanked it. Drunk gonna hit the stasis. Interesting to have the stalwatch on him. A Psychopather gets tagged up in Oreo and will claim that kill. The fish Nami helping out to secure that one. Level 16 now achieved for Daltini Linguini. But Dorado, they're looking to end the game right here, right now.
And it looks like Tough Daddy does get that mythic. I was gonna be surprised if there was gonna be no mythic completed here, but Dorado absolutely steamrolling Queen's Revenge and
more. Oh, Lucian.
Yeah, they're gonna go for it. Are they gonna go for it?
Dive.
They're on the edge. Oh, they're gonna go for it now.
Do it. Oh, okay. Shut down. Sejani trying to get away. That was pretty funny. They get some style points for the end of the game, but ultimately Lucian helps out the minions with that one. And my prediction was correct. So Lamb is now flawless. A flawless victory for Lamb in the prediction department. But take a look at the statistics. That gold lead, it just kept snowballing, Crims.
Sergeant Roebuck, completely defensive build here. Really hampered their damage and ability to kill the backline, especially Drunk or Orion on the side of Dorado's there. So Sergeant Roebuck doesn't go the Night Harvester build, went for more utility. I think he could have went for it because that early game was really showing. The Maokai does go for the full damage to make up for the AoE of Sergeant Roebuck there. So that makes sense. Uicidal only gets to 2 and what, a third items here, Lamb.
Oh.
Completely not able to scale in this game. But you know what? I've seen enough of these numbers here. I want to see those damage numbers.
Give me the damage.
Yeah,
let's see that
the
damage.
Deeps here. See how deep that damage is. As we're just gonna be waiting around for that. But yeah, Lamb, absolute blowout from Dorado, I would say.
It was, and really what we've seen is a resurgence of what Sejani can do. Pair that way any side of the lane. Baby. Who let this man cook? He's driving now. Who let him cook? Absolute phenomenal performance by Jax up there in the top lane. And look, I mean, these numbers really a credit to what he could do up against Psychopath. They were going hammer and tongue, back and forth, pendulum swinging, junglers or not. What an absolute titanic matchup in the top lane, Crims.
Did he do more damage than his entire team combined? It kind of looks like it. It looks like it.
17, 32.
Oh no, it was close.
Oh,
it's close. It's close.
It's very close. Actually,
almost
5,000. Yeah, 5,000. That's
about 5,000. 5,000 away. A few more 1v1s in the top side, maybe another 2v2 or 2v1 versus Camille and Maokai, and that would have put him over in more damage than his entire team combined. But that's just to say, maybe we won't be seeing this Jax on Daltini Linguini in the future. I mean, there's already, in my mind, three bans against Dorado here.
Hmm.
And that's not to mention the stuff that could be let through if you give up the normal bans.
Oh, one thing I'm going to say is Daltini, if there's anything to take from this castity, is those are rookie numbers for the damage charts. Get them up. Get them up, baby. We
Oh,
want we want to see we
all
want to see
right.
40. We want to see
Lamb not
50.
impressed.
We want 60. Yeah,
Lamb not
Lamb.
impressed.
Look, I'm a hard guy to please. I'm only kidding. Daltini Linguini, you played phenomenal. It was such a pleasure to cast your game, sir. The Jack's performance was definitely exquisite. I loved the 1v1. I loved how you went behind. So 0 and 3, by the way, Crims. Don't forget that. 0 and 3 against the Camille was absolutely crushing it in the 1v1. And then all of a sudden, what happens when Jax gets a kill? The whole game just turns on its head.
Well, was it a 1v1 Lamb? Because Sergeant Roebuck was
Give him it.
making quite a bit of round trips to the top side. And they did have that huge outplay in the 3v3. Let's not forget what started it all. And then it was that 3v3 on the top side. And again, Queen's Revenge finds a huge advantage in the early game, but they could just never play it out from that moment on. For
Well,
Coach Revenge, it's such a shame because they had the early game leads. You could see that they could have won these games, but Lamb, it just doesn't come together. They don't get the sauce.
they don't get a sauce. They don't get whatever the sauce was on. Unfortunately, no revenge to be had today for Queen's Revenge. But still, they showed very good promise in that game, right? I want to go back and, we talk about Roebuck. The roams from the mid lane are really good. Apart from, that game one, I feel like we can push that aside and say, okay, the Azir was under so much pressure. Dorado game in Epsilon, they really turned up the heat in that mid lane to make sure that Roebuck couldn't do anything. And then once he was on that Galio, the plays just started kind of seeping through. He started making things happen for his team. And it was really promising up until a certain point when, a certain somebody, the Italian Impasta man up there in the top lane, got involved and he just started this. I want to go back to it. He was the catalyst for the snowball. He made it happen. Lucianami snailed by, yeah, snailed, not sailed, snailed by that early game. We didn't see any solo kills, 2v2 kills in that bot lane until the junglers eventually got down their Crim. So again, Queen's Revenge, they still have a lot of promise, even though they take the 2-0 defeat today.
I mean, their early game was superior to Dorado's. I mean, 2 out of 2 times they were able to get that advantage. So they have some good points to look to. I think they're going to be doing some VOD reviews, talk about these games where things went wrong, and then they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But for now, Dorado has basically highlighted their weaknesses as a team and have shown their own strength at the same time. So, in terms of stylistic matchup, it's pretty exciting. Queen's Revenge, very good early game team. Dorado, mid game, excellent.
Yeah, different spikes, and really, if the draft can reflect that, then this team will certainly go far. So maybe if that early game is your priority, or if just by accident you end up winning that early game and you make it look good, maybe draft something accordingly. Zinzao comes to mind.
Mhm.
There's different early game champions that you can do. But ultimately, guys, we're running out of time here because it's a 2-0. Dorado game in Epsilon will defeat Queen's Revenge. And we have to say that usually there's an interview, but there's something special taking place. Interviews will be done post game for the next game. So our producer, Lucan, will be on top of that. Not to worry, we will hear from the winning team eventually in some media that Titan Esports will roll out. It's going to be a phenomenal season. We're strapped in. So from me, Lamb, from Crims, shout out to Lucan tonight. You were fantastic, even though it started glitching out and we started losing it a little bit here on the desk, but we still love you, man. Dorado Gaming Epsilon, GG's, Queen's Revenge. We look forward to you getting that revenge at some point in the season. But again, it was a pleasure to cast everybody's games tonight. Thank you all for coming out and supporting Titans on a Wednesday, and we will wish you good night. God bless. We'll see you next time. Titan Esports rolls around.